complete the learning experience at the networking seminar, so I asked two respected professionals to speak and share with us their understanding of business. I know both of them very well, and they both have a tremendous amount to share. A lot more than the 20 minutes allotted to them. So if you feel after the speech that there's some topics that wasn't covered.
Thank you, Ari, for the introduction. And I appreciate and thank Ari for doing it. I know it's going to help a lot of people. I also want to compliment everyone for coming. I know there's a lot of people in Lakewood who are thinking about coming, who are discussing, really show that deserves a compliment, because as we know, in business, thinking about things is very important, discussing things. And for a lot of people, it's not easy. Moving into action requires discipline, it requires commitment. A lot of people get stuck into thinking. And I think especially in Lakewood and in the Jewish world generally, where we learn a lot, and in learning we keep thinking, we keep discussing, and at some point we get used to the fact that we have to analyze everything to the detail. And while in business it's very important to think and to plan, but you have to move into action. And I find a lot of people get stuck in thinking about things and never moving on, because there's always so many different sides to each story. Which brings me to a very important point before we start going into the details of what it takes to succeed in business and why businesses fail. Whatever we're going to discuss tonight is just a thought. It's just wants to make more money. Every single person wants to have money, and most people do not. If you look at successful people, you will always find that they are very passionate about what they do. And the reason for it is very simple. There's a lot of business opportunities today because the world is a lot bigger and a lot more open than it ever was. There's also a lot more competition and a lot more challenges than there ever was. And the way to succeed in business is to deliver something that's better and different than anybody else. And the only way to do that is if you're passionate about it. And being passionate about it does not mean that you're doing something to save the world from hunger. It doesn't have to be askunas, it doesn't have to be anything that helps other people in a big way. Just all day long. And our decisions create a decision, and that creates the reality that you're here. You had a thought. Where do thoughts come from? Thoughts are naturally, automatically generated by our mind. The way the mind generates is like a computer generates what you see on the screen. There's a hardware, which is our subconscious mind, which has a lot of beliefs, thousands of beliefs about every single thing. And those beliefs keep generating new thoughts, which create results, which create decisions and results. So the beliefs basically ultimately determine who we are and what we do and our reality and our results. How do we create beliefs? We have a thought for a very long time, and at some point we decide that this is not a thought, it's basically a fact. So let's say we think, we have a thought that we're in a recession. We keep hearing about it, we're not sure about it, does it affect me, does it not affect me? At some point we decide that there's so much talk about it that it has to be true. We accept it for a fact that there is a recession going on. Once that's done, we're not thinking about it anymore. We start accepting that as a fact, and we keep operating from that. Okay? So I'll give you a simple example. If I tell any one of you now that you can make $1 million in the next 30 days with your business, okay? Your mind goes right away, before I finish my sentence, your mind says right away, it's impossible, okay? You finish the sentence, okay? Whatever you want to write. Next line, who's writing? You ready? No? I only have 2, I need 2 more.
All right.
Okay. Okay. You ready? Okay, life is, finish the sentence. Okay, next line. Money is, finish the sentence. And the third line is, people are, finish the sentence. No thinking, just write. You can't think. If you're thinking, you fail. You fail the test. You gotta write quickly. Okay. Okay, so let's start with the first line. What did you write? Life is? Life is fun, okay. Life is?
Great.
Great. Okay, life is? Struggle. Life is?
Challenging and exciting.
Okay, challenging and exciting. Okay. Money is?
Money is.
Okay. Money is? Relevant. Money is? Helpful. Money is? Important. Okay, people are? Okay. People are? Interesting. Important. People are? Happy. Okay. Now, I don't think we got the same answer from anyone. So, which basically means that this is called beliefs. So, some people, one person here had a belief, life is fun. One person had a belief, life is a struggle. Now, do you think those two people would make decisions and have different thoughts during their day? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. If one person thinks that people are important and one person thinks people are strange, do you think they would deal with people differently? Yes. Okay. So basically that's beliefs. Now who is right? Whatever I think is right. So everybody feels that their thing is right because you accepted it as a fact. Okay? So the point is, the second point is, the reason why people are not successful in business is because they have limiting beliefs, which means they convince themselves that they cannot succeed. Every single time I sit down with a business owner, they tell me, listen to me, you don't know my industry. I'm telling you my industry is dead. There's nothing to do. There's no sales. Whatever I can do, I did already. Now, I'm not sure why they're coming, okay? If they're so sure, why they're coming? No, I do know. They want to pay me, okay? So I should give them, okay, my professional opinion that they're right, so they can sleep better. Now, my first question always is there anybody in your industry that is making money? And the answer is always sure. Okay, so there's got to be something that could be done differently. But the point is, we all have limiting beliefs. On a plan. Now, it doesn't mean that you need a 60-page plan. It doesn't mean you have to plan out every detail. You can't. If you plan out every detail, it's a waste of time because things will keep changing. But you need to have a plan. A lot of people go into business and then they realize a few weeks later that they can't run, they can't operate, they don't have enough money, they don't have the right sources, they advertise, they can't fulfill the demand, they didn't know that their supplier can't fulfill it. You have to have a piece of paper, one simple paper that says, here is my business, here is my market, here is who I want to target, here is how much I'm personal level. If you have any relationship with them, they need help, you gotta help them. But I have certain rules in business. You have to be on time, you cannot use a cell phone. I will not give in on those rules, no matter how emotional the person gets. Employees are either worth their salary or they're not, because they keep performing more. Whatever it is, a lot of times salespeople, businesses fail because the business owner get their egos involved in the business. So the solution is simply look at a business from simply facts without getting your emotions and your ego involved.
It's strategy. Advertising is built on strategy. You have to understand that advertising is similar to a chess game. And just as a chess game, there are pieces on the board that you move around, and you have to know those pieces, what they are and how they move. So in advertising, you have to know certain principles, what they are and how to make use of them. Strategy is the essence of advertising, is the backbone of advertising. Many years ago, Paul Allen from Microsoft came to my agency. He had an airline that was $40 million in debt, about to go out of business. It had a competitor that owned the market for 30 years. It was well known. And this little upstart there was basically failing, and as he said, had one foot in the grave. Within 3 years, we turned it around, and this little upstart was sold to American Airlines for about $250 million. And the other airline almost went out of business. I still remember they told, it was in the papers, they said to their staff, to their people, either take a cut in salary or going into bankruptcy. That was a turnaround. We turned it around by strategy. We changed the paradigm of what reservations were about. We changed the paradigm of what the interior of a plane, the service should be. Strategy is the essence. And you have to know, in order to achieve strategy, you have to know what the pieces are that you're moving about. Now, I am sure that most people here tonight, if you talk about effective advertising, the first thought that comes to mind is a great headline, great copy, great visuals. And let me tell you, there's two stories about great headlines or great advertising.